Hello, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to provide some demonstration of cyber handlers. So it's important for you to understand that a MK victim or other kind of legitimate TIs don't have handlers just in the physical world, but online too. As you know, we live in the age of virtual reality, where so much of life takes place online. And of course, it's a great way to get information out. So naturally, a lot of TIs who want to spread truth, they take to the internet, obviously, as I have. And so that is going to be attempted to be controlled, like anything that the TI does is going to, there's going to be attempts to control it, to tear it down, to discredit it, and it's not even, part of it is about the targets, traumatizing them or adding stress to their life. And there's other specific forms of abuse that handlers do, and there's programming in it as well. But it's also to influence the public, to deter you from reality, to deter you from actual truth. So if a legitimate TI is, their whole purpose that propels them and that they make every effort to embody, if their whole purpose is to share and spread truth, light, love, then that is going to be torn down. They don't want you, the public, to be able to connect with anything resembling truth, legitimate light, and love. So cyber handlers are it's pandemic for any TI. So I would encourage you to pay attention to my comments or to my responses to comments on my videos. I get, this particular channel, the No Witness channel, has less activity than my channel dedicated to awakening consciousness. Sorry, I see it looks like just now I kind of started up in my recording. There's a funky thing going on with the lighting, like, these shadow ripples. I don't know if that's going to show up in the playback while you're viewing this. Hopefully not, because it's annoying, but just be aware this is the kind of technological interference TIs often face, like what this started happening out of the blue and for no reason. And this is only one of many kind of interferences I contend with for technology. Nonetheless, the information, there's going to be some useful information in this video, so please stay tuned. So as I was saying, I have two channels, and I have one dedicated to awakening consciousness, and it's just under my regular name, and it's Rachel Caruso, and that's always linked to this channel. You'll find it, it's linked in various places. So I have more viewership and more activity on that channel. This one has really been obstructed, but let's just say there's more activity on that channel, and it's faced its own obstruction, but that doesn't matter. My point is, pay attention to my response to the comments. I will always be pointing, like most often, I will be pointing out cyber handlers. And excuse me, I usually do so in a strategic way. Sometimes I will directly confront them on it. Other times I will point it out without pointing to it. And so I do this to help the audience awaken to the characteristics of cyber handlers, and so they can learn to spot the patterns. And this is patterns in behavior and wording and lots of other things just kind of fitting all together. I do apologize, I had to pause the recording for some time, so I lost my exact train of thought, don't know exactly where I left off. And I don't edit my videos, so just stick with me. We're still on the same topic of spotting the cyber handlers and their patterns, and why it's important for you, no matter who you are, to learn about cyber handlers and their patterns of behavior and everything. So this is going to be relevant for you if you are a TI, or if you're just the general public, not a TI, because we all share the planet. We're all being controlled by the same perpetrators. We all live in a demonic world. So like I said, you know, these attacks are meant to influence the public as well. Your opinion, your ability to connect with real information, with truth, with clear truth. So being able to discern a cyber handler or a misinformation agent is going to help you to cut through all the layers of controlled opposition. As I've said before, controlled opposition is multi-layered. That doesn't even mean just one or two or three. It can go on. Multi-layered controlled opposition can go on for many, many layers. It is meant to confuse the hell out of you. It is meant to lead you down this rabbit hole where it's just twisting and turning, and it's the rabbit hole that is not truth. So it's just misleading you with all this chaos and confusion. And you know, it can have the same effect on the targeted individual. However, for TIs, it's going to be really relevant to you to spot who is corrupt in your life, to protect yourself from them, to guard yourself from them and the attached agendas. So some of their agendas, you know, it might be really specifically tailored for you, the individual, but some of it includes programming or reprogramming, triggering your old programming, espionage, activating your original trauma bond to the cults. It can be kind of activated in that individual as well, because they are linked to the cult. Whenever they activate your original trauma bond to the whole cult, then you can become trauma bonded to them, which has a severe distortion on your perception of reality. And so the trauma bond just puts blinders over your eyes, and it also hijacks your nervous system. It hijacks your entire body and neurochemistry. So, and I mentioned espionage. Some handlers, they won't be overt in their attack. First, actually, they'll act as though they're your ally, and so they're trying to gain your trust, to try to weasel their way into your life, or it might even be in subtle ways that they ask what seems like to be a simple question, but it's something designed to extract information about you for the cult, something that they really need to know in order to control you on a psychological or even physical, spiritual level. So they might be looking at the specific information you give back, or they might just be looking at the psychology of your response, like the format of your response. And so they're using it to profile you. And that's kind of low grade espionage, when they're just trying to profile you with your response. But you know, it takes it up to the next level when the handler tries to weasel their way into your world by gaining your trust, and then they and it's a very systematic, methodical process, and then they'll start to extract information from you under the guise of they are your friend, or at least, you know, just your ally. So these are just a few reasons why it's so important for anybody and everybody to learn about cyber handlers, how it functions, and like how that whole system functions, and learn to spot them and to discern them. And as always, I'm going to say developing yourself spiritually through the heart space in order to connect with your third eye and read energy, read vibrations, is going to help you a lot as well. But you use it in conjunction with reading behavior and patterns and language. And as I said before, everybody has access to the same information. We all come from the same place, from the same creator. And so everybody has the ability to develop these psychic skills to read vibrations. And so you also want to study narcissism, educate yourself on the topic as much as you can, and plan on your education never being finished. There's so much to learn about it. We are a planet of narcissism. It's Satanism embodied. It's a very specific psychological dynamic that, I mean, it affects you on every level. The physical, the mental, emotional, and spiritual level. It is so relevant to everybody. We are all subjected to mondo doses of narcissistic abuse, and it has a really specific, it's a very specific dynamic that you can end up being wrapped up in it. If you're entangled with a narcissist, then now you're also in this dynamic. So it's narcissism in itself has its own dynamic, right? But also the way it entangles people, that's another dynamic. So you need to learn about both dynamics, so that you don't end up getting entangled with a narcissist. So you can be in the vicinity of narcissists, but not be entangled with them, not be subjected to their perversion of truth and their delusional realities and their very insidious forms of abuse. So if you educate yourself on narcissism, it's going to go a long way to help you spot cyber handlers and understand why they're doing what they're doing and what effects it's supposed to have. And with that awareness, you protect yourself from being entangled with it and from being affected in the ways that they intend. So read my comments. I believe that may have been the thoughts I left unfinished before whenever I paused the recording. Check out my comments on my Awakening Consciousness channel, which I'll put in the little, there's a little line up here in the corner with the link to my channel. Check out the comments there and my responses. So sometimes I point out the handler directly, and a lot of times then they will delete their comments because they've just been caught, and I've been able to make it so obvious to the public when otherwise it was covert. So it was covert until I really picked it apart for you guys. But don't worry, I have been compiling a photo album of screenshots of these attacks and my responses, and sometimes in that photo album I'll break it down even further. So that is on my No Witness Facebook page, and I'll put the link to that photo album of cyber handlers down in the description box. But other times they don't, occasionally they don't delete their comments. So, you can still find those comments on my channel and my responses to them. And other times I will point out the attack and the handler without pointing to it. So essentially I'm breaking down, I'm confronting them on their behavior, but I do so from I don't give the end result of the judgment. And so I'm doing this so the public can be aware of, oh, there's something wrong here. And then they start to key into it. So I have a personal strategy for when I employ that route of, being indirect with my confrontation and when I'm direct in it. And that I'm not gonna reveal. So my responses to comments are going to be useful for you in spotting the cyber handlers. And, of course, not everybody is a cyber handler. Unfortunately, they are the most vocal on my channels. And like I said, a lot of times they try to portray that they are supportive, that they're of the light, they're on your side. But then over time, or if you kind of follow the links, like if you go to their channel or you look them up on like maybe they have their real name, and then you can go look them up on Facebook and find, you know, matching photos of them, and so you know it's the same person. And then you'll find other clues, like they're subscribed to a lot of Masonic channels that are openly Masonic, or channels that are openly Luciferian. Or like you go to their Facebook page, then you notice their business is obviously Illumi or something like that. So sometimes there will be clues there, and other times it's just a matter of time when their true colors starts to bleed through. So today in this video, I'm going to show you I'm going to screen share and show you some of some cyber handler attacks and my responses, picking them apart. And yeah, this person, they'll probably delete their comments, or I mean, a lot of times, sometimes they do respond and try to conduct further confusion. So just be on guard. Don't automatically buy into what they're saying. Look very closely, because a lot of times they'll contradict themselves, and that is gaslighting. They have the intention to gaslight you, to cause cognitive dissonance, and which it actually shuts down centers of your brain when you're stuck in cognitive dissonance. So you can't think clearly or fully, completely. Your critical thinking skills literally get shut down. All right, so here we have this cyber handler, this channel calling itself ILoveYou. So that's actually symbolical. I forgot to mention, their names are always symbolical. Sometimes it will be something really specific and personal to the TI. Other times that's going to be it's all the time, right? But sometimes it's going to also be obvious to the public. So for example, something that's exclusively personal to the TI would be like if your grandmother always called you Rosy Cheeks growing up. The cyber handler's account's name will be Rosy Cheeks. So it's something that only you will know and others won't. And you know, that's the nature of gang stalking and of targeted abuse, that it's always covert, so that if you were to try to talk about it, everybody else would say you're crazy. You're exaggerating, this is all in your head, you know, you're taking things too personally or something. Well, it is personally designed for you. And other times it's going to be something really obvious. For example, like this handler, their name is literally Chief Handler. So sometimes they're just more overt with it, and the public can spot it if they look carefully. So I'm going to start though with this cyber handler attack, the ILoveYou. So that part of the symbolism, so far as I can see, there might be more to this, is they are faking being my ally, right? And so they want to portray themselves as liked and loved. So, you know, how endearing and what a good person to just have an account name that everywhere they go just tells everybody that they love them, right? And it's even to you personally. I love you. So, and that's exactly what they're trying to pull here, this whole fake ally thing. And I'm going to show you why they're not. Okay, so both of these responses came rather recently. Today, when I'm filming this, it's Sunday, August 4th, 2019. So 1 week ago, they left 2 comments on 2 different videos. And so I am talking in this video how to transcend poisoning as a TI. And again, this is on my, as you can see from the profile photo, this is on my Awakening Consciousness channel. So he, who knows, says, hi, if you still need clean water, because I talk about my water always being poisoned in that particular video, I could suggest the website findawell.com. It helps you to locate the natural springs available groundwater in your area. Some of them you can go to and fill up water bottles for free. Blessings. Blessings with an emoji. So they're putting on a persona right here. And so I've already known about Find a Well and seen as how my activity online is very much tracked. The only device I have is this tablet, and it was given to me by the cults whenever I was asleep to the programming. So it's outfitted with plenty of spyware. So my handlers are going to know that I already know about the site, right? So this isn't, so it's also kind of, it's parts of what I would call dog whistling. You hear this term in politics where it's like an underhanded or covert message for a certain person where nobody else is going to be able to spot it or know the meaning to it. Kind of like the account names when I was saying sometimes they can be personalized exclusively to the TI. So this is a message of dog whistling. I already know about Find a Well, and they're going to know I know about it. So let's move on, because everything is about pattern. So it's not just this comment that makes them identifiable as a handler. It's patterns. You have to connect the dots. So let's move on to their next comment. So this is on the video, my top 11 MKU healing tips. And I present it as, I do say, and it's in the text, that these are tips provided by the divine through me. So it's an integrative shamanistic perspective. And they comment to say, wonderful video, very helpful info, thank you. So now I'm going to show you patterns of why they are a handler. So I have my response here, and I'm going to show that to you in a moment. But first, I just want to show you this. Okay. So here we are on my interview with Autumn Asphodel talking about MKU and DID. And this interview took place in April. And, you know, about 2 months ago from August, the same account, ILoveYou, says, I've seen this woman before because I follow a lot of MK victim survivors. She's still under mind control. We don't need a victim of mind control to be anyone's shaman, sorry. She's simply getting reacquainted with her soul after being tortured and programmed, which is their agenda. She needs healing. God bless. And then we have another cyber handler that responds. So there's so much pseudo-Christianity. I mean, if somebody tells you that there is exclusively one way to the light to connect with God, that is cultism. So pseudo-Christianity is, and all cults lead back to Satanism. So it's the cult's function and mindset, that dynamic, that is satanic. So that's why I call it pseudo-Christianity. They're using this front of Christian cults, and it's really just Satanists. So that's what a lot of cyber handlers, or just handlers in general, use. So we have somebody here to support that attack, saying, totally believe it's probably an altar that's programmed to bring forth new age rubbish. So, you know, I'm very openly against all religions because they are all satanic. They're all forms of mind control. And I talk about the spiritual matrix and the difference between the New Age movement, which is the global rise in consciousness, and which has been hijacked by the Illumi New Age religion, which is a cult. Yeah, all religions are cults too. And I've talked about that in my video on my other channel, The Spiritual Matrix. So, and in this interview, I don't talk about really specific New Age, any kind of concept that is similar to the New Age religion. But they're just going to attack me because apparently you know, it doesn't make sense, right? But people are going to go visit my channel from this interview, see that I speak on some concepts that are similar to the New Age religion, but which the religion has tweaked or perversed. And so I'm not aligned with all concepts of the New Age religion. Some of their concepts, what my soul expresses is similar, but like I said, they have twisted it. So I don't belong to the New Age religion, but they're trying to make people believe that I do with this comment whenever people are naturally going to go over and visit my channel after watching this interview. And so then here's another cyber handler attack. If you still believe you are a shaman, you are still under programming. I pray you seek Jesus. He is the only healer and the only one whom can break the programming. So again, more pseudo-Christianity. If you don't just follow their specific form of Christianity and Jesus and the Bible, because there's like endless forms of it, right? If you don't seek their specific form of it, then you are evil, you are demonic. Shamanism is demonic, and I get that a lot. So this is also a really specific pattern to my whole life. Loads of pseudo-Christians saying shamanism is demonic. And so I'm a natural born shaman. That's why they are trying to attack it and tear it down. That goes to attacking my personal identity, so to have a personal effect on me. And they want to discredit my purpose, like what I share with humanity. They want to discredit that so as to prevent people from connecting to the gift in it. And so here we have that same handler, I love you, agreeing with it. So, and then, yep, that Brooke Federline handler that was up here, they comment again. Totally agree. Many are programmed to bring forth the New Age rubbish, praying to break her programming. So they're just repeating themselves. So it's a bunch of handlers interacting with each other so that you think this is a natural course of conversation, or course of thinking. And of course it's not. So let's go back here. So right now we're specifically focusing on I love you. And so yeah, take a moment to reread that, and let's go back to, so that was 2 months ago. And then here we have the exact opposite. They're portraying the exact opposite on my channel. And so I break it down and I confront them on it. And I say, so interesting that on my channel here and in other videos, you comment to act as though you are supportive of me. On this particular video of MKU healing tips provided from my integrative shamanistic view, you even reply specifically to say it's useful and helpful. Yet over on my interview with Autumn Asphodel, you executed character assassination. Actually, I haven't posted that yet. Yeah, I wanted to do that because they might delete it while I'm making this video. All right. Okay, so I just posted it. You can see it's there. All right, so my response. So interesting that on my channel here and in other videos, you comment to act as though you are supportive of me. On this particular video of MKU healing tips provided for my integrated shamanistic view, you even reply specifically to say it's useful and helpful. Yet over on my interview with Autumn Asphodel, you executed character assassination. You've spoken in a direct contradiction with your comments, with clear purpose to tear me down, providing no evidence or concepts to support your empty recrimination. You even include fake religious self-righteousness to lend to your tone of condescension. Your comments, I've seen this woman before because I follow a lot of MK victim survivors. She's still under mind control. We don't need a victim of mind control to be anyone's shaman, sorry. She's simply getting reacquainted with her soul after being tortured and programmed, which is their agenda. She needs healing. God bless. You also responded in agreement with other comments of pseudo-Christian cultism. If you believe you are a shaman, you are still under programming. I pray you seek Jesus. He is the only healer and the only one who can break the programming. Cyber handlers conduct character assassination of TIs based on lies or empty statements. They feed love and hate to the targets to confuse them and their viewers. Classic narcissism. But love, hate, sweet, mean, you will find that in every narcissist usually, well, especially the covert ones, but yeah. They will also mix together true information with disinformation for all topics at hand, the classic ILoveYou maneuver for endless confusion. At times, the demonstration of support and helpfulness are used specifically to build the trust of the TI to eventually weasel their way into their life, spy, extract information, and conduct programming. Here we have a cyber handler. Viewers, I hope this helps you to spot the patterns of MK abuse so that you may discern ultimate truth and protect yourselves from the perps and their agendas. And if you're wondering, like, oh, is somebody impersonating this one, account, this ILoveYou? Maybe somebody's impersonating them to throw me off. So let's just find out. Okay. So here I've just clicked on their accounts. All right, and then let's go over to the other video, Autumn Asphodel's interview, and let's open up their accounts. Oh, look, same accounts. I'd already done that before, that's why there's multiple tabs open there. Yeah, same account. Oh, look at this. I didn't even notice this. I did not scroll. I visited their accounts just to make that check, but I did not scroll down to see that they've created a playlist of me. So do you see this is a lot of, they're trying to induce a lot of confusion with anybody who enters their sphere of reality in their physical life or in their cyber life. So they're going to, and this is the pattern, and they'll also comment on videos that mix, their comments will be mixing truth and disinformation oftentimes. Yeah, so they have ILoveYou disclosure here, healing from MK. They've made their own playlist featuring me in that video, spiritual here, where I talk about, and that first video is, well, let's see, okay? It's mine about false spirituality, a pandemic. And then why I stopped breaking and entering creepypasta, no idea what that might be. But so my false spirituality is denouncing religion, and there on Autumn's channel, they were overtly religious. And so let's go back. Hi. Oh, sorry. All right. And then what do they have here on their healing from MKU? So first 3 videos are of me. So they have 6 videos, and half of them are from me. Hello. And let's see what else they got. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go through all of this stuff with you on video. You can do that yourself. I'll post a link to their channel in the description box, and and they might delete their channel, or they might alter it after I've made this video. Okay, and I'm going to respond to this one also. So a lot of times, the handlers, they'll comment over a bunch of different videos that aren't even close in their publishing dates. So they'll scatter their comments everywhere. So that's when you reply to them, they'll contradict themselves across all those comments. But of course, you can't really prove that to the viewers unless you put it all together, like in a video like this, but you can't prove it in that single comment very easily. So I'm going to call them out on being a handler by linking viewers, directing them to this video in my response there. And like I said, they might delete their comments after this. Okay, so my comment to get published. So I'm going to keep the demonstration to that one example. Like I said, there's other examples compiled in a photo album on my Facebook page, and I'll probably make more videos like this in the future dedicated to individual handlers, not to every handler because I'm not going to let them waste my life like that, but enough to demonstrate the patterns of behavior, speech, language, narcissism to you guys, so you can start to become attuned to it and spot it for yourself. So like, this isn't about me proving myself. I think it's interesting because once you point out the handlers, it indicates that at least I'm targeted. Like, at least you can say, well, that much is legitimate. So, like the handlers themselves, different ones will say, I'm delusional, there's no such thing as targeting, there's no such thing as a satanic agenda, targeted abuse doesn't exist, you're just mentally ill, etc. And like things that go so against what is almost mainstream awareness now, information. It's like there's these two streams. All right, so we have the mainstream information and what's in mainstream media, right? And then we have the alternative media and the alternative community. But those streams are closing in, they're coming together, they're closer and closer now. So what's been in the alternative stream is not that far from mainstream now. It's not that hard to find the alternative community and a lot of information there. So they're trying to stick to, the handlers are trying to stick to the narrative that could potentially be held up 30 years ago, maybe, if you weren't doing your own research. But now, 5 minutes online and you're going to find that it's such bullshit. Like you saw the one handler, cyber handler, commenting, whose name was Chief Handler, saying their only comment was, you need a psychiatrist. Again, like not backing it up on anything. So not backing it up with anything, just these, they're just trying to stick to the really old narrative of, oh, well, if you talk about being a targeted individual, then you're mentally ill. So anyways, the purpose to compiling all of this is to help awaken the viewers, whether you're a TI and you're going to be prone to this stuff, or the public and TIs, you're going to be prone to falling for these traps and getting confused by what's true and what's legitimate or not. So I think it's interesting that it does lend to as evidence of my legitimacy, but that is up to you to utilize your critical thinking skills paired with your heart center intuition. Just continue to connect to your heart organ every day, and that is the center of all truth, of your truth and of all truth. And after you've been building a connection to your heart, you'll feel it. And that's where you don't have any doubt about it. You can't deny that what's inside your heart is true, because you'll feel it for yourself. You won't have to just take my word for it. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope this has helped you on your path of awakening and embarking on a discovery of truth. Please remember to subscribe if this information is helpful and you want to connect with more of it and you want to spread this awareness to more people, and recommend or share the video with others. And also remember to like the video, because it does make it more available within YouTube. YouTube will recommend it to other people more so it affects the algorithm if you like the video. And it'll be interesting to see if we get any cyber handler comments below. And like I said, at first you might not realize it. They're coming out pretending to be an ally. And this isn't to say that everybody who comments is a cyber handler. The truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, the commenter the person behind that, only you know if you're legitimate or not. So if you're legitimate, I see you and I thank you. And if you're illegitimate, God sees you. And there's karma to pay. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.